Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Let's Stay Gamers, and welcome. So many times you guys have complained about how wasteful my weapons are. How a large explosion or a mine or some sort of weapon that blows things up just wastes so many resources. We need some way of capturing all the resources that are wasted and using them once again, maybe for our own sort of creation. So what I'm about to show you today is something extremely annoying, and I'm probably going to regret showing it to you because it's probably going to be used against me at some point in the future. But down just below the surface we have a very thin layer of grinders. So these grinders are actually hooked up to a large cargo container, so everything we grind off a ship or a small vehicle that passes above it will basically be used and turned into more parts. You could even extend this to such a level where all these parts are converted into a drone or some sort of else or a little piece of equipment that comes back and then fights your enemy while they're still trying to get out of your grinding field. So to set this up, I'm just going to spawn myself with my little character in the little buggy, and I'm going to turn this thing on. Now if you're going to use this weapon, you'd of course have it on a remote sort of system where you'd access it once they were over the minefield, because once you turn this thing on you can obviously hear the grinders spinning up. So if we just turn that off for a second, so you can imagine you drive across the minefield or the grinder field and then turn the weapon on. So let's actually show you what happens when we do that. So turning that on, we'll pick this vehicle first. So we've got our little rover, we're driving along, we don't know what's happening. We could even be going a little bit faster in this, and our wheels start to come off. And then the rest of the ship starts to get ground down around us. Look at that. How annoying would that be? And the worst thing is, if you get out to try to stop the grinders, maybe by digging underneath and trying to stop them from grinding away actually at you, you actually die because the grinders then grind you away as well. So next up, I'll just test this next rover up, and then we'll talk about grinding away different sorts of aircraft. So that thing is actually being torn apart by the grinders itself. The cockpit's the only thing left at that. So let's take this bigger little craft in here. Drive that a little bit further, try not to hit our own. So our wheels are coming off once again, and it's being broken down. All them components are being harvested and taken away. And I was even thinking of some system where you could have a small ship with a cargo container connected to a connector, like off in the mountains over there, instantly offload all the supplies from them grinders, especially if you're working on a bigger ship. So for instance, if we wanted to use these on a bigger ship, we could simply turn these off. We'll just get rid of the wreckage of these two little ships or rovers that we've completely wrecked here, and we come to a situation like a clearing, or in perhaps there's some ore, or we just need to pick a bit of a funneling point really to funnel our target into. So if we just have a look around the environment itself, maybe there's a clearing, or maybe there's like an ore patch like this where it's perfect. The player will probably land his ship right on top of it so we can start mining away. That's a perfect little spot where we can set up this grinder trap. Now what was really great about this trap, especially with ships, the thing is, when players left their actual craft on top of the grinders, we waited for them to walk away and then we turned them on and it started to grind away the ship. They simply returned looking for the ship to be somewhere around, and since the grinders had completely disabled, or well, ground down the ship into just components and parts, they kept looking around and they just got confused. They didn't understand what the hell had actually happened to the ship. So if you get an opportunity like that, where they're far away, or they're looking around getting a bit distracted, and you'll have the time to grind away down their ship without even being noticed. It's such a trollololol weapon, isn't it? So, right, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm feeding off this sort of enjoyment of someone losing their ship to the ground. I don't know, it looks like a bug's happening, doesn't it? But really it's just them sneaky little grinders that have been buried below. So you could do this to a ship on a larger scale as well. It just depends how large the grinder field is, and you've got to also work out, is the size of the grinder field going to be worth the sort of prey? Because once they know it's there, or they can see it starting to grind away at the ship, they're going to do everything they can to stop it. Maybe it'll kill them the first time they respawn, second time, but eventually they will clock onto that there is a massive pit of grinders underneath their ship grinding away at everything that's happened. So I just wanted to make this video as a little bit of a warning in case your ships keep disappearing and you don't know why they're disappearing. Well, I do apologize if that was me grinding them away. And secondly, this is a little trap that you can try out on your friends. Just make sure you pick the right location, somewhere where it's going to funnel them in. In a big field like this, it's going to be very hard. So maybe up in the mountains where there's a small sort of passage to land, a small area between some trees or so on, you can set it up and really go to work grinding away. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.